Okay, in the direct result of Republican abortion ban ridiculousness, we have the Sacred Heart Emergency Center in Houston, Texas. Had a woman that came in and she was feeling pains and she was bleeding and she was denied care. She ended up going into the lobby of this emergency room and miscarried in the bathroom. Her husband called 911 from the emergency room and said she was bleeding out and can they help her. Told 911 where they were, and they said they couldn't get help at the hospital because they weren't the hospital's clients. In Florida, a woman found out that her fetus had no heartbeat the day after she was denied medical care at a hospital because she felt pains and she wanted to get checked out. She wanted to get an ultrasound to make sure everything was okay. And the very next day she found out the fetus didn't have a heartbeat. So that's all fun and games. And North Carolina, a woman gave birth in her car after being turned away for medical care at another emergency room and was trying to get help from the hospital. The hospital denied her. So she went out in her car, gave birth, and the baby did not make it because they refused health care for her and the baby because of abortion laws. Idaho still refuses any abortion care whatsoever, no matter what the reason, even if it could risk the mother's life. And they're only there to protect the fetus, but the woman carrying the fetus is unimportant. So Idaho doesn't really have much women's health care anymore because all the doctors can also be held criminally responsible and prosecuted as felons, lose their license, be sued, and everything else. This is what Republicans are doing to women across the country. And then we have Alabama with the 1864 abortion ban. We have all of this stuff that's going on right now is Republican run. If there are women in the United States of America still wanting to vote Republican and you have daughters or you give a crap about your personal health, whether you believe in abortion for any reason or not doesn't matter anymore. You need to recognize very, very, very simple facts. This is about women's rights. And this is just the beginning. We have Republican lawmakers talking about women's voting rights should be taken away. Women should be back in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant like when America was great. We need to recognize the hypocrisy of any woman voting Republican these days. We need to recognize that you are literally taking the rights away from not only yourself, but your children, and it even includes your male children and the guys in your life, because a lot of these laws have to do with medical privacy, and a lot of these laws actually tie the men in too, with, child support from conception and things like that. They're debating and they're fighting whether or not 12-year-olds can be married, whether or not 10-year-olds can have abortions if they're raped by family members or anyone else under the sun. They are forcing these children to have children. So I repeat, ladies, wake up. If you are still voting Republican, knowing that this stuff is going on in other states, even if it's not in your state, it's coming to your state next if you allow these people to take over the government up and down ballot in your state. So please recognize the damage you are personally doing by continuing to vote these people into power. Read Project 2025. Read these statements of these Republicans nationwide and the extreme crap that they're dishing out, like in Alabama and Texas and everything else, and a woman eating a gummy when she's pregnant because she doesn't want to take any pills to harm the baby. A good mom can be convicted as a felon, as a criminal, because the baby didn't have a medical marijuana card. A woman carrying a decaying fetus in her body is forced to carry it to term, putting her life in danger and causing her not to be able to have children again for the rest of her life. This is what's happening in Republican-run states. This is not about allegiance to the Republican Party. It's not about the Republican Party you first signed up for, because this is not that party anymore. What is wrong with you saying this is okay? What is wrong with you pretending this isn't happening because you don't see it yet in your state? Wake up. You want your freedoms? This is the only way you're going to maintain any freedom. God forbid body autonomy. God forbid your own right to choose. And it doesn't matter if you're against abortion or not against abortion. It doesn't matter if you're pro-life or pro-choice. It doesn't matter anymore. Get that through your heads. They are going after every right women have. Every single right. Listen to what's going on in other states. Pay attention to laws that are being passed just across your borders, because they're knocking on the door where you live. They're looking at the states you live in if you're not affected by it yet. And the more Republicans you put down ballot that don't have the guardrails of some logical politician on the other side of the aisle going, yeah, no, well, women's freedoms are actually pretty important. Let's protect women. That's the only reason why you don't have it in your state yet, because those people are there holding them at bay. There's Democrats fighting for you, and you're voting against them. Let that sink in. And if you think I'm full of shit, do some homework. And then leave a little message for me and tell me how wrong I am. But until you do your homework, keep your vitriol to yourself, because your daughters, your granddaughters, and in a lot of ways, your sons, your grandsons, will pay the price for your vote. That's a reality. That is the world we live in now. And it is unfair, and I agree. It'll only take 1 or 2 cycles to clean these people out. That's all it would take. And then you're back to having your freedoms. And if you don't ever need that type of care, you don't ever want that type of care, good for you. But anyone else's care is none of your damn business. Get that through your head too. Because their situations may be medical, maybe not. Isn't your problem. That's what freedom actually is. That's what actual freedom means. Other people can do things you don't do by choice. Other people may have medical issues that you don't have, which makes those decisions very, very difficult anyway, but necessary. Just because it's not happening to you or in your state or in your family doesn't mean it's not happening to the people next door to you that you care about, that are just keeping it secret because it's heartbreaking. They may not want that care. They may need that care. And women being turned away at emergency rooms and being forced to have miscarriages in the bathroom and call an ambulance while you're sitting in the lobby of an emergency room is pathetic. That's third world stuff. Is that what you want for the United States of America? Or is that just okay for you because you're all that matters? I'm sorry. I was raised a gentleman. But I will say this. Stop being so freaking selfish. Other people's choices with their bodies aren't up to you. Just like they shouldn't be able to force you to live their way. That's freedom. So be diligent, stay educated, and be kind. We are all in this together, and we need to support each other. God bless.